Hello everyone and welcome to my presentation of this week, which is going to be focusing on Adobe InDesign. I decided to ditch Lightroom because basically I realized that I have reached a good level of understanding within that software, and now I wanted to move into something much more complex, and Adobe InDesign gives me that possibility. And not so long ago, I also identified that this could be a tool that would serve very well for my graduation project because I wanted to do a lot of printed media for a podcast since I'm trying to do a branding marketing campaign for it. After playing around 2 weeks with InDesign, I could define this as a Microsoft Word with a lot more power, a lot more customization options, and a lot of features that tune this software into being very distinct from Photoshop as I initially anticipated. The reason that I gave myself a 3 out of 10 was because I knew that it shared some UI elements with Photoshop, but in reality InDesign works very differently from it. And it's just basically a tool that looks at text as something crucial for the way that you work with it. Photoshop text is something much more complementary. Additionally, when it came to learning more about this software, I wanted to look at experts this time around. This is because I realized from a very quick notice that it was going to be a tool that I was going to utilize a lot within my career. So getting experience of people that have worked with it for 20 years is just something incredible. And on top of that, I found two good sources for it, being Skillshare.com, which has a lot of lessons, like Lynda.com that I've used before. But on top of that, Adobe Max 2020, which was a conference that was held in the 20th of March that had a lot of panelists, a lot of, I would say, seminars, a lot of workshops that help you out in specific software. So that is something that I use for InDesign here. And on top, you can see Chad Chelius and Daniel Scott, which are two that I found out that are very, very useful. When I first approached Adobe InDesign, I was kind of initially surprised by the way that it worked differently. You didn't use layers for production. Rather, the way that you organize your files and the things that you created is a frame-based foundation. That's the best way that I could find to explain it. Whenever you have a page, instead of an artboard, you divide it into sections, and you can divide them within 3 different types. You have graphic frames, you have text boxes, and unassigned frames. On top of that, I also found out that there are new transformation tools that I have never seen before, such as a little square or two basically that are called imports and outports that help you with text wrapping. So it's just another example as to how InDesign actually works with text much better than something like Photoshop. Another key component of this program are the properties and pages. For instance, when you work with images, it works very similarly to text, where you have to expand the box that you're working with before you actually make the image bigger. And on top of that, it looks, instead of separated artboards, into pages. And it works not like a compositing program such as Adobe After Effects or Photoshop, because they work from top to bottom, so there are no layers, but rather it meshes them all together. When it comes to efficient tools that the software has, I realized that it just basically gives you a lot of flexibility, and it invites basically all types of working environments. It gives you the possibility of importing text from different files. So if you have written something on Word or in a PDF, you can import that into the text file that you have created within InDesign, and that's a powerful tool. And on top of that, you have swatches, which basically keep an organized kind of color palette to your document. And you'll see the evolution of that as I talk about CC libraries, and that is also a powerful tool. A CC library is a kind of a mixture of graphics, colors, and fonts and sizes that you can give to a multitude of documents because they're all stored in the cloud. And on top of that, you can share it with people. So for instance, if you're working in a company and I want to share it with somebody else or someone that is working in my graduation project, I can make a CC library of my logo, of the podcast, of my colors, of my font, and they will instantly get it and be able to apply it automatically within their document that they're making in Adobe InDesign. For the future, I want to be looking at subject-aware text wrapping, which basically means that you can wrap text around an image. On top of that, I want to look at easy color location that detects the colors of your whole document and easily change it. Also, I want to look at masters, which basically gives you kind of preset margins for whenever you want to make a new document, which is something that could ease production later on. And also want to look more at text wrapping, because I realized that when it comes to writing a lot of text, for instance, if I want to type something from scratch, I really find it very hard. So basically just become better at it. On screen right now, you will see one of the results of a document that I have made, which is just a simple checklist. Instead of just doing it on Word, I decided to work with it and make it look more interesting, and I think I got a good result. And on top of that, the biggest work here is a PDF that it's a mood board book that I also made in InDesign. And it's basically just all my influence for the podcast that I want to make, how I want to do the logo, and all of that I have to do it with InDesign as well, and it looks pretty neat, I have to say. In terms of references, you can also see on screen them right now. And basically that's going to be it. Thank you very much for listening. I'm certainly going to be doing this time around a second presentation on it.